A little over a year ago, I went to the doctor for a couple times thinking that I was going for something as simple as the common cold. But it turned out my doctor found a large mass on my lung. I went home that day to wait on the results of more tests and my biopsy, and I just kind of laid down and I wasn't sure how I was ever going to get back up. I was scared for me, for my kids, for my parents. They just lost another daughter a few years before from the same disease. The best way that I could probably describe it is it literally felt like the devil was ripping away at my heart and my mind. And it didn't matter. I felt lost, and it didn't matter how many people were around me. I still felt so alone. I allowed myself to feel that way for a few days, and every time I looked at Bill or our youngest two kids, I just saw the sadness and the fear in their face. And it was funny because my oldest son, Zach, who you all know as the handsome media guy, he came in and he was always so positive and he always had a smile on his face. And I'd grown up in church, and I knew just from seeing him and from knowing what I knew, we needed to find as a family what Zach had already found. So that next Sunday we went to Center Branch. Even though I was ultimately diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer, after coming to church, I could almost right away feel the difference that it was making in our lives. For example, the first specialist we went to, he was very doom and gloom, and he gave me a prognosis that was very dark and seemed really hopeless. And as soon as we left there that day, I called Morgantown to get a second opinion. I just wasn't ready to accept what that first specialist told us. I knew that God had more in store for me. And when I called Morgantown, they told me that it was not likely that they could get me in as quickly as I needed them to get me in with the type of disease that I was diagnosed with, but you know, that they would call me if they happened to have an opening. But I kept my hope high. So the very next day, Morgantown called me back, and they said that there was a doctor there that was willing to fit me into her schedule and to get me in the very next day, and to be there the next morning bright and early. And that's what we did. And the very first time I met her, Dr. Kolodny, she had just moved here actually that same month from Las Vegas. And she said to me, "I don't know why UHC told you the things that they did, but I'm here to tell you that I'm not just here to treat you, that we're here to heal you, and that I'm going to do everything I can medically, and then we're going to pray." And then the second specialist, it was my surgeon. His name was Dr. Abbas, and his words to me the very first time I met him was, "Keep your spirits high and keep your faith very strong." And I knew right then when I heard those words from those two doctors that God had intervened, and he had put those two wonderful, God-believing doctors in my life for a reason. I'm so happy that I found the Lord again, and I'm so grateful for his healings and his blessings that he pours all over our family daily. I'm also very thankful for this church. Everyone here is so kind and so welcoming. And the pastors are great. Anytime that I've ever needed them for prayer or whatever, it could be in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week, probably at their busiest times, and they've still invited me in and prayed over me, and just I felt the same love and peace and their faith just like I did in my own son, and I'm so thankful to them for their love and their kindness, and for helping me to find my faith, and for helping me grow in my relationship with God. In August, it'll be a year that I've been cancer-free, and I thought for a while that I'd wait to do my testimony until after the 1 year mark. I thought that was important for some reason. But I realized that I don't need a milestone to mark what God has done for me, how He's healed me. I mean, it's already done. I should be telling people now. I should have been telling people all along. And there will never, ever be a day that I won't praise Jesus' name for all that He's done for me.